Aircraft carriers may be the most well-known naval vessels, but they only account for a fraction of U.S. surface combatants. The destroyers, the fleet's equivalent of swift, agile, and weapon-packed greyhounds, make up a sizable portion of the Navy's total force. Destroyers can weigh up to 9,000 tons and measure a length of 500 feet and a width of 59 feet, 150 meters by 18 meters respectively. They're one of the most sophisticated killing devices ever created, and they're being used all over the world. Those who have served aboard a destroyer are generally considered to have served in the real Navy. Life on board, with over 300 crew members packed into cramped quarters, can be exciting, mind-boggling, and downright terrifying. Brief depictions of life on board destroyers in media, such as movies and recruitment films, sometimes exaggerate the positive and omit important details. After removing the Hollywood gloss, here are 10 realities of life on a destroyer. You will feel quaint at sea. The good news is that after a while, you will get used to the ship's motions and may even find that they aid in sleep. However, after the ship departs from port, it will be in constant motion, and you will become ill no matter how well you handle the carnival attractions. Sometimes the pitching, rolling, and yawing can be rather severe. It is fairly uncommon for the ship's bow to be submerged in rough seas, and 45-degree rolls side to side are also possible. Sandwiches made from cold cuts are the only safe option when the seas are too rough to risk cooking. Unfortunately, after you recover your bearings and can stomach food, you will encounter a storm. The waters will get so dangerous that you'll have to go through it all again. At least the most jaded of your other crew members will be embracing the John next to you. The seasickness a sailor first experienced on the ocean can return even after many years at sea, especially in the harshest conditions. Not much rest for you tonight. However, only about a third of sailors have schedules that allow for 7 hours of sleep per day, despite studies showing that this is necessary for workers to perform well. This applies across the Navy, not only to smaller vessels, and is especially important on larger vessels with larger crews. After 8 hours or longer on the job, you should be prepared to stand watch. This may involve examining data on a radar scope, instrument dials, or binoculars. This task may also affect navigational planning or ship steering. The after-hours watch is something that everyone does, albeit some people do it more often than others. The Navy also enjoys conducting special evolutions, which include things like refueling from a tanker ship at sea, receiving supplies via helicopter, maneuvers, and training. The Marine's deadliest adversary, right? A relaxing vacation at sea with no plans. The ship still operates on a 7-day week, but the weekly routine of drills and evolutions is compressed into 6 days. A good day is one in which you can sleep without interruption for at least 4 or 5 hours. Your lodgings are terrible. If you see enough military films, you can get the impression that everyone is an officer and sleeps in the same bed. Officers do have cabins, but they aren't nearly as lavish as the ones depicted in movies. You'll be disappointed to learn that just approximately 20% of sailors are officers. Your quarters aboard the ship will be one of the berthing compartments. The ship's berthing area can be compared to a large bunk room with racks, military slang for bunk beds, placed vertically in threes. Then picture these 3 high piles crammed into a space that is, at most, 30% too small. There are 40 or 50 more people on board you will see naked within a few days, due to their snoring, sleep-talking, and lack of cleanliness. Then, keep in mind that there is either a gasoline tank, an ammunition magazine, or the ocean above, below, or to one side of you. Safe sleep to you. Submarine hunting is a challenging task. Destroyers can be used in a variety of ways in combat. They are capable of destroying aerial targets, including missiles and airplanes, as well as surface ships and submarines. The catch is that sinking a submarine is the most difficult kind of modern warfare. It's not like in the movies, where ships frantically ping their sonar at the submarine's hull in an attempt to hear an echo. Pinging the active sonar, for starters, will alert every submarine within kilometers of your location. Second, the water's temperature and salinity affect how sound waves are deflected. There is probably nothing broadcasting loud noises into the ocean. The noise a submarine emits is picked up by ultra-sensitive hydrophones and analyzed by sonar operators, who then employ motion analysis to pinpoint its location. The Navy's passive sonar systems are cutting-edge technology that is continuously improving. Subs are becoming increasingly quieter, and this is a major issue. Ask any sailor active in anti-submarine warfare, and they'll tell you that the same ASW stands for awfully slow warfare. Submarine hunting is time-consuming, difficult, and usually fruitless. I can only pray that the enemy submarine is also having trouble. Anti-missile defense is a terrifying activity. Anti-air warfare can be terrifyingly intense for just a few minutes, whereas sub-hunting can take hours. Aircraft in the sky can be spotted from hundreds of miles away by sensors. Most anti-ship cruise missiles, however, fly low to the water, sometimes coming in at less than 100 feet, 30 meters in altitude. Due to Earth's spherical shape, radar detection has a maximum range of about 48 kilometers, 30 miles. The alarm from an anti-ship cruise missile will likely be the first warning that a missile is on its way to sink your ship. Even though many anti-ship missiles travel at more than twice the speed of sound, you'll still have approximately a minute to spot the threat, follow its path, and fire your missiles at it. It's the polar opposite of going out in search of submarines. Direct missile engagements last only a few terrifying minutes. There will be zero discretion. You won't have the mandated 25 square feet that inmates in cells are given. If the sardine-like circumstances in your berthing compartment weren't bad enough, there are also rows of tiny lockers in the same space for storing your uniforms and other personal items. Your home has less space than a typical jail cell. When you emerge from your cabin to have breakfast, you'll find the so-called mess decks crowded with your fellow sailors. Every day begins with a formation in which you stand near your fellow soldiers. Then, you'll report to your assigned work center with a smaller group of sailors who share your specialized rating. The metal partition between your stall and the one next to it will be the extent of your privacy there. You'd be surprised at how good the food is, but it stinks. Navy rations have undergone a culinary revolution in recent decades. Historically, the Navy oversaw its educational system, and the people in charge of the ship's kitchens were known as mess management specialists, after the cafeterias or mess decks. The Navy and other services have opened a unified culinary school in response to complaints about shipboard meals dating back more than a century. The former mess specialists are now known as culinary specialists. The plan was successful. The ship's kitchens made remarkable strides. The ship's cooks have improved dramatically, but they can only do so much with the resources they have. There is a shortage of freezer and refrigerator space, and it is difficult to restock. For obvious reasons, fresh food is not always a priority for the Navy. After roughly a week at sea, fresh fruit and vegetables start to run out, just like actual milk does. Soon enough, you'll realize that breakfast truly is the most important meal of the day. Even when using powdered eggs, it's hard to mess them up. In a fire, we all fight together. It's terrifying to come home to a house fire. If the fire gets out of hand, you'll have to evacuate the building and watch it burn to the ground. If your home aboard a ship is on fire at sea, you have nowhere to go. Either you survive the blaze or you sink to the ocean floor. Lifeboat in tow, if you're lucky. In certain situations, everyone on board, from the captain to the deckhands, needs to know how to use a fire extinguisher. All crew members are required to complete firefighting training and receive certification before being allowed to serve aboard a ship. The fact that the ship is completely stocked with gasoline and ammo should serve as an additional motivator to study hard. Tom Lors served for a total of 24 years, most of which was spent on board destroyers and frigates. On multiple occasions, he was referred to as that sailor. That's all for the video. We will be right back. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.